Hello and welcome. We've all been there, right? That feeling of needing to be prepared for a big job interview, a final exam, maybe the trip of a lifetime. But there's probably no event that screams be prepared, quite like a wedding. It's a day just packed with tradition and hope and this deep desire for everything to go just right. And believe it or not, it's a wedding feast that sets the stage for our story today. An ancient tale with a message that is surprisingly modern about what it really means to be ready. And speaking of wedding traditions, some of them are just wild. In parts of Wales, after all the guests have gone home, the new couple has this playful fight to sort of, establish who's in charge. Or how about this? In Mexico, some couples actually have to pass a quiz about each other's families, and if they don't, the wedding's invalid. Wow. And in Spain, a ceremony might kick off with the bride and groom holding a kiss for as long as they can. The longer the kiss, the sooner the party starts for everyone else. Now, as fun as those traditions are, they all really point to the same thing, getting ready for a brand new life together. And what's so interesting is that a wedding feast is also the setting for a really powerful ancient story that Jesus told, a parable all about what it truly means to be ready. So to really get what this story is about, we have to kind of picture the scene that it paints. This isn't just some tale with a simple moral at the end. Its power is really in the details, the cultural setting, and, well, the one crucial choice that separated two groups of people who, on the surface, looked almost exactly the same. The story kicks off simply enough. You've got 10 bridesmaids, they're all invited, they're all part of the wedding party, and they all have the same exact job. Take their lamps and wait for the groom to show up so they can light his way to the big celebration. But right from the very beginning, we're told there's this critical split between them. I mean, just look at how similar these two groups were. They all showed up for the job. They all had their lamps. They were all waiting for the groom. The only difference, the single thing that decided their entire fate, was that the wise bridesmaids brought extra oil and the foolish ones didn't. Now, to get why this extra oil was such a big deal, you gotta put yourself back in that time. There were no streetlights, okay? And wedding negotiations could drag on, so a groom might not even show up until super late at night. The bridesmaids' lamps were absolutely essential to light his path. If their lights went out, they failed at their one and only job. And this right here, this is the central tension of the entire story. The timing was a complete mystery. He could be early, he could show up at midnight. Nobody knew. Everything, and I mean everything, hinged on being ready for a delay. Their whole test was about being prepared for the great unknown of when. So this single detail about the oil, it really starts to reveal the story's deeper message. This isn't just about packing an extra bottle of something. No, it's a profound warning against a certain way of thinking, that comfortable but really dangerous assumption that what you've done is good enough. So let's ask the question, right? What was the real mistake here? I don't think it was laziness. I mean, they did show up. Their mistake was complacency. They just assumed the oil they had would be fine. They made a calculation based on what they expected to happen, not on what might be required for a future they couldn't predict. This reminds me of a story I once heard about a leader who was taking a group of students on a mission trip to Vietnam. Before they left, he sends out this super detailed checklist, and he reminded them again and again and again about the most important items. And the students were so confident, almost a little dismissive, right? Yeah, we've got it, don't worry about it, they said. But of course, when they all meet at the airport the next day, one student had totally forgotten his passport, and another one had forgotten her ID. I mean, they had done 99% of the prep work, but their complacency on that last 1% almost wrecked the entire trip. And that's why the end of the parable hits so hard. When the foolish bridesmaids finally get back with their oil, the door is shut. And the groom says, "Truly, I tell you, I don't know you." Now, this isn't about him not recognizing their faces. It means that by being unprepared, they just forfeited their place. They missed the party entirely. But here's where the parable takes this really fascinating and kind of challenging turn. It seems to be saying that while being complacent is dangerous, there's another layer to this. What if, sometimes, even our absolute best and most careful preparations just aren't enough? So we have this paradox. The story tells us to be alert and ready, but it also shows we're getting ready for a moment we literally can't predict or control. I mean, think about it. No matter how much extra oil those wise bridesmaids brought, couldn't the groom have been delayed so long that even their supply ran out? It's possible. I'm reminded of a friend who spent a whole year planning the most beautiful, perfect, romantic outdoor wedding. I mean, every single detail was meticulously arranged. The flowers, the seating charts, everything was accounted for. But then, just a few days before the wedding, the forecast changed. A massive typhoon was heading directly for them. So you can see here, a year of 100% planning effort was almost completely wiped out by something totally and utterly beyond their control. All that preparation couldn't stop the storm. And this is just such a profound truth, isn't it? If our confidence comes only from our own checklists and our own efforts and our own little supply of oil, then we're living with a false sense of security. Our peace is, well, it's fragile. Because life, just like a typhoon or a delayed groom, is fundamentally unpredictable. So, what's the answer then? If our own preparations are ultimately limited, how can any of us ever be truly ready? This brings us to the final, and I think the most important message of this ancient story. It's all about completely redefining what it even means to be prepared. This is the real question the parable leaves us wrestling with. If any finite supply we carry, whether that's our own strength, our own wisdom, our own goodness, if it can eventually run out during a long wait in the dark, then what does real, unshakable readiness actually look like? Well, here's a really powerful way to think about it. The foolish bridesmaids, they were relying on the finite amount of oil they could carry themselves. It was self-contained, sure, but it was limited. True wisdom, the parable is suggesting, isn't about carrying a bigger flask of oil. It's more like connecting your lamp directly to the gas station. It's about having a connection to a limitless supply. And that's the heart of it right there. The goal isn't self-sufficiency. That just creates anxiety. The goal is connection, which creates this deep and lasting peace. It completely shifts the focus from, do I have enough, to, am I connected to the one who is enough? So in the spiritual language of the parable, that infinite source, that gas station, is God. It's a relationship with Him through Jesus, who provides the endless grace and hope and light that we need for whatever journey lies ahead. It's a kind of readiness that doesn't depend on us, but on our connection to Him. So the question this story leaves us with isn't just for those bridesmaids thousands of years ago. It's really for each one of us today. As we face our own uncertain futures, are we anxiously checking our own limited supply, just hoping it'll be enough? Or have we found that deep peace that comes only from staying connected to the true, unending source of light?